Raymond from the 10-yard line. Raymond has one terrific return already today. Looking for a second. Raymond up the sideline, across the 30. Khalif Raymond, goodbye. His second career punt return for a touchdown. This one goes 90 yards.
Elbow, forearm, he's going to be down.
The result of the play is a touchdown.
The flag that was thrown on this was picked up.
I don't know, did it get the face mask?
Only do that if you're telling the official you're reporting.
The Lions hangover.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining me here on the Lions Hangover Podcast. I am Brad. It is now officially a Victory Monday after the Lions defeated. They trampled. They pounced. 52-14 was the final over the Tennessee Titans, a team in which they have never beat, and only their fourth career victory over the history of the franchise, going back to even the Houston Oilers days. Once again, I am Brad. Don't forget to find me on all social medias, X, Facebook, and Instagram was the one that I left out. Please, please, please rate and subscribe this beautiful podcast that I am creating currently. I really appreciate it. Thank you for listening. I can't stress that enough. The Lions had a whopper of a day. It was a game of mixed emotions, man, because at times their defense didn't play that great. At times, well, not at times, on paper, other than the touchdown category, and with the exception of Jahmyr Gibbs, their offense didn't play that great. But one thing that did play great was their special teams. Jake Bates had a 51-yard field goal. As a team, they had three fantastic returns, one kick return and two punt returns. It could have been three punt returns, but one of those was called back on a holding penalty. Jared Goff had a solid day, but not an overwhelming day. Threw for less than 100 yards, but he did have three touchdowns. Even David Montgomery had a passing touchdown today, but even Montgomery had less than 40 yards rushing, I think. Jahmyr Gibbs was like the one true star on offense. Khalif Raymond would probably be the second star on offense, but special teams, Khalif Raymond, he had an amazing day. Definitely player of the game. He was named player of the game through the media and all that stuff, and he definitely deserved it. Defensively, they caused 4 turnovers today, but in that first quarter, almost the first half, the Titans could do whatever they wanted. The Titans had a lot of big plays today. The secondary didn't play that great, but at the same time, it was Amik Robertson had 2 punch-out fumbles. He forced those 2 fumbles. Trevor Nowaski had that interception like early in the game. And even Kirby Joseph got his 5th interception. So it's like, it's a really confusing day emotionally, and somehow, like, the Lions just destroyed the Titans, man. We'll get into all of the stats in a little bit. Apparently, Jared Goff came out of this game with a little bit of a sore ankle. He played the entire game, except for when they started to substitute everybody in the fourth quarter just from their ginormous lead. And Rodrigo, he had a bit of an ankle injury as well. He did not come back into the game after his injury. I don't remember him getting injured. I just remember thinking, where's Rodrigo? All the linebackers played fantastic last week. Jack Campbell had a great game. I would argue that the linebackers had another great game. For Tennessee to have a bit of a weak offensive line and the assumption was that the Lions pass rush would kind of overwhelm the Titans. That really didn't happen. And Taylor Decker had like his second worst game in a row. He didn't have a great game, specifically that first quarter. But overall, he didn't have a great game, I don't think. Man, how fast is Jahmyr Gibbs? I want to see one of those next-gen stat things. I want to know what speed he reached. I swear, he probably reached like 26 miles an hour, man. He had so much speed. I thought Montgomery played a good game. He just didn't get used as much. I mean, you could even argue Gibbs didn't get used as much. I think he only had 11 carries on the day. I think Montgomery had 6. Time of possession was lopsided. Everything was statistically lopsided except for, even the touchdowns were lopsided. It's just it was in favor of the Lions, whereas everything else was statistically lopsided in favor of the Titans, but that doesn't matter. Only touchdowns matter. This is a touchdown league. You don't win games off of first downs and most passing yards. You win games by having the most points, and points come from touchdowns and field goals. Oh my God. Like I needed to explain that to you guys. It was a lot of fun though. A lot of fun being at the game today. That's why we're so late. This one's coming out early Monday morning. I got up early today to make it down and get my Calvin Johnson bobblehead. It looks good. I like it. Happy I got the Calvin Johnson bobblehead. Who knew the bobbleheads would be in such high demand? But after not getting the Jahmyr Gibbs bobblehead that first week of the season, I was upset, and that mistake will never be repeated again. So we will be arriving early to all of the games to make sure we get our bobbleheads and free goodies and stuff. Man, they showed Aiden Hutch was there. They showed him, and he no doubt got the biggest applause of the day, even above and beyond all of the touchdowns. It was just amazing to see Hutchinson there. Okay. I have stats, but we're not going to get into the stats just yet. I want to make sure that we cover everything that happened as well. There were some milestones and some streaks, and overall, it was just an amazing game. The player of the game today was Khalif Raymond because he had those 5 punt returns for 190 return yards, 1 touchdown. He also had 2 receptions and 14 receiving yards, also with a touchdown. Jared Goff, of course, is the first player in NFL history to have 2 or more touchdown passes with a quarterback rating of at least 110 or more, and completing 72% of his passes in 5 consecutive games. The only player in NFL history to have done this. That is quite a feat. And of course, we can't forget Sonic and Knuckles. That's man, there were some people with Sonic and Knuckles costumes. I had a skeleton mask on today, painted half gray, half blue, and this is on my Instagram page, of course. You can see that one. Exclusive, Instagram exclusive. I know I post a lot on X, but this one is Instagram exclusive. I wore that mask a little bit until the game started, and holy cow, man, it was so hot. I was dripping sweat. I'm sure some of it was just condensation from breathing and stuff. It's a pretty sweet mask, and I'm kind of happy with how the face paint turned out on it. But ultimately, oh man, I there's no way I could have wore that the entire game. Plus, in my old age, I'm getting blind, so I need my glasses to really see. So I had to put my glasses on, and I can't do that with the mask on. If you see the mask, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, Knuckles and Sonic. See, I'm not a Sonic the Hedgehog fan, so I got to think about that before I say it. Plus, it's late, and I'm freaking exhausted. Yeah, Montgomery and Gibbs, they've got 1,500 scrimmage yards and 15 scrimmage touchdowns in their first 20 games together, okay? They're the only running back duo. And I have to say this. watching the Lions this season, there is no doubt the Lions have the best running back duo in the game today, and there's not anybody close. Okay, I'm sure if somebody from another team heard me say that, they would think, oh, you're just a Detroit slappy. No, this is the honest to God truth. I think I would have enough wherewithal if I was doing the Seahawks hangover podcast, out in Seattle or wherever I wanted to do it. If I would still recognize that Gibbs and Montgomery are the best running back duo in the NFL and possibly ever, man. I was really impressed with Chubbs and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. A couple seasons ago, they were doing really well. But honestly, I think Montgomery and Gibbs are probably even better. It's hard. It's hard to argue against that. Also, this is not anything I've ever thought of before. So I'm going to say that these two are also the best in NFL history. Branch and Joseph are probably the best two safeties on a team ever. Name a duo safety, free safety, strong safety. Tell me two more on the same team that are as good or better than Branch and Joseph. What do they have? Combined 8 interceptions in the first 7 games or something like that? Or is it 9 interceptions? It's unreal. It's unreal. They're amazing. And Brian Branch even missed a game with the concussion protocol, right? Didn't he miss a game? I feel like he missed a game. These two are amazing. They're definitely my favorite players now. I mean, Brian Branch has been my favorite player on defense for a long time. I love Hutch. Hutch is the man, but I feel like it's unfair, to the rest of the players to just choose Hutch because Hutch is the given choice. So I'm like, well, who else? Who would be my favorite player? And it's hands down Brian Branch. I just love him, man. He's so cool. He seems like a classy dude. He just puts his head down and he goes to work and he just nails it. So I'm a huge fan of Brian Branch. I think Kirby Joseph is a funny dude. I follow him on X and just some of his stuff. I think he's got a good sense of humor. They're just both amazing. While we're talking about defensive backs too, I really think Tyrion Arnold had a great game. I would like to see more. This is going to sound crazy, but there were some big plays in today's game, and I feel like Amik Robertson got burned a lot. I really want to see more from him, but I feel stupid saying that because he had those 2 forced fumbles today too. But as far as the coverage goes, the coverage needs work, man. He's a little bit of a liability out there today, He definitely got picked on. I would have been picking on him defensively or offensively if I was playing against him. I definitely would be picking on him. Let's get back to some more of these streaks, though. We have a 6th straight game averaging at least 5 yards per carry, minimum 10 attempts in a game, tying the NFL record long streak. This is Jahmyr Gibbs, okay? 6 straight games averaging at least 5 yards per carry, minimum 10 attempts in a game. We got Adrian Peterson, Chris Johnson, Franco Harris, and Jahmyr Gibbs, okay? If he has one more game, he would be the leader. The leader. You're kind of rooting for him now, aren't you? Right? Come on, Gibbs. Also, the Lions are 6-1 for the first time since 1956. I'm sure you guys have already heard that one, though, right? Also, the last 5 games, I'm just cranking these out. I took so many notes and screenshots today. I was like, I have to mention this. The last 5 games, the Lions have 24 offensive touchdowns. 24. Only 19 incompletions. The last 5 games. Now, we heard this stat last week where there were more touchdowns than Goff had incompletions. But the streak just keeps going, man. He is playing so well, so smart right now. I think he only had like 2 incomplete passes. We'll get to that though. Yeah, we had 6 offensive touchdowns today compared to 3. Oh, he had 3 incomplete passes today, but 6 touchdowns, 6 offensive touchdowns, 3 incompletions. That is ridiculous. Way to go, Goff. Way to go. Okay, and just by comparison, I know 6-1 doesn't sound like a huge deal. It's amazing, but I know it doesn't sound like a huge deal, even though it's the first time since 1956. Let's talk about Dan Campbell. Well, not necessarily. Yeah, Dan Campbell. First year here, 0-7, 2021. 2022, 1-6, but we know how that turned around the second half of the year. Since that second half of the year, we've been on fire. We started last season at 5-2. Okay, and we are, of course, at 6-1. This is straight up improvement year over year. The only way it could be topped next year is if the Lions start off 7-0. I mean, and I honestly thought the Lions were going to go 8-0. Like, I didn't have them losing. If you go back and listen to that first, the predictions, the win-loss prediction episode, how I thought they were going to do this year, I didn't have the Lions losing until they played Houston, right? Or maybe it was Green Bay. I don't remember. I think it was Green Bay probably. Definitely going to lose to Houston, though. That was my prediction. I don't know if we'll lose to Houston now. I think the Lions are playing great, as good as anybody, and I would almost say the Lions are the best team in the NFL. I probably would have given it to the Ravens, but they lost all my respect losing to Jameson Winston and the Cleveland Browns today. Like, how can you look? And that's, I don't mean that as a disrespect to Cleveland. I mean it as a disrespect to Baltimore. Kudos to Cleveland, and I'm sure that changes things as far as they might not be willing to get rid of Myles Garrett now or, whoever else. But if you're the Baltimore Ravens and you think you have a shot at the Super Bowl, and I get this is the NFL and anybody can lose on any given Sunday. That's the beauty of the NFL. But we lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay is a playoff team. Cleveland is not a playoff team, okay? We might lose to Green Bay. In fact, as of right now, there's Jacksonville. But, I mean, you could argue Jacksonville's a playoff contender, But as of right now, the rest of the games this season are against playoff caliber teams. We have the entire NFC North remaining on our schedule. In all but Minnesota, we play twice. And all of those teams, I know Chicago lost today. They're 4-3. They're still a winning record. We're still the toughest division in football as of this moment. Week 8, we're the toughest division in football. Okay. We play the Vikings once more. We play the Bears twice. We play the Packers twice, including next Sunday, 4:30, prime time. Is that another Tom Brady game? I think that might be a Tom Brady game still. Any team we lose to now is playoff caliber. Cleveland is not playoff caliber. I don't care who their quarterback is. Baltimore, shame on you for losing to Cleveland. Like, you cannot call yourself the best team in the NFL. Don't even think about being the best team in the NFL. And yeah, here comes some shade towards Kansas City too. Patrick Mahomes is the luckiest mediocre quarterback this year, right? I don't even know if they won today. I'm assuming they did. Let's find out. Hey, Google, did Kansas City win today?
Yes. The Chiefs won 27-20 yesterday against the Raiders.
Yeah, there you go. Against the Raiders. Okay, so now the Chiefs are the only undefeated team remaining. I'm sure you guys knew that before I even asked Google. Right? But Mahomes is having a very mediocre to sub-mediocre season. Okay, he's not lighting it up. He's not having an MVP-type year. Jared Goff is having an MVP-type year. You cannot tell me what other quarterback is having an MVP type year so far. Now, things can change. it's hard to imagine that Goff is going to play at this level from here on out. But he's got quite the streak going, so who's to say he can't do it for a few more weeks? You know, everybody's going to have a bad day at work. Everybody's going to have a bad day at the office. Okay, so I'm not expecting Jared Goff. And listen, I know I've been on Jared Goff's ass before. When he plays poorly, I'm the first one to criticize him. But that's just because I see games like this. I know he's capable of better. So when he regresses during those games, it just drives me nuts. It frustrates the hell out of me, okay? But what quarterback right now in the NFL is having a better season than Jared Goff? I can't think of any, okay? He's at least 2 games ahead of anybody else. 2 games ahead. That means he has to play 2 bad games before we should start talking about somebody else being the MVP of the season, okay? Jared Goff is on fire right now. On fire. More touchdowns than incomplete passes over the last 5 games, man. That's unreal. Has anybody even ever heard of that stat? How can you have more touchdowns than incomplete passes over 5 weeks? Is it 5? It could be 4 weeks. We're still talking about 16 or 20 quarters of football, and you're telling me we've got more touchdowns than he has incomplete passes. Nobody that I can think of in the history of the NFL has come close to that, okay? He is doing amazing things so far this year. There's a rough start to the season, but we came out of it with only losing 1 game, you know? So kudos to Jared Goff. Kudos to Ben Johnson. Kudos to Mark Berline, right? Or is it Steve Berline? I can't think of anything, man. The quarterback's coach, the old Jacksonville guy. Yeah. I think it's Mark Berline. Anyway, amazing. He's doing a great job. Also, I know he just had 1 field goal today. Jake Bates, though. 11 straight field goals to start his career with the Lions. That's the most consecutive field goals made to start a Lions career. It's just kudos to Jake Bates. I'm happy he's here. I still get nervous when he kicks. But he is better from further away than he is up close. So that's amazing. That's amazing. But I do get nervous at those extra points, especially the extra points. I think I got one more here. Yeah, one more. Here we go. Khalif Raymond, the only player in Lions history to produce a receiving and a punt touchdown in the same game. Only player in Lions history. So that's a franchise milestone. Okay, so congrats to Khalif Raymond. He did an amazing job. Yeah, okay. 6 different players had a touchdown today. This also ties the most in franchise history in a regular season game. That makes me wonder if playoffs are different. But yeah, what a freaking amazing game. Are you guys ready for some stats? Let's do it. Lions versus Titans. Yep. Okay. It was a lot of fun, guys. It was a lot of fun. Here we go. As most often, we always start with the away team because that's just the way it pops up on ESPN, baby. Mason Rudolph went 22 of 38 for 266 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and 1 sack. He lost 8 yards on that, so there's a total of 258 passing yards for the Titans. Quarterback rating of 66.4. Okay. Early on, they were hanging with us, and I'm not going to lie, I was a bit nervous that this was going to be that trap game. You know, it only lasted that quarter, but I was a bit nervous, you know, so I'm happy that the Lions it went back and forth for that first quarter, but then the Lions just started turning it up. They're like, nope, we're gonna outscore you guys. Tony Pollard had a fantastic day running the ball. Lions run defense was not there. I'm telling you, it was real nervous there in the very beginning. Tony Pollard ran the ball 20 times for 94 yards. Julius Chestnut ran the ball 7 times for 32. Mason Rudolph ran the ball 4 times for 29 yards. Pollard's longest was 17 yards. Rudolph's longest was 14. Not much after that. Calvin Ridley had himself a day. 10 catches, 143 yards. No touchdowns, though. Nick Westbrook Ikine. I'm horrible with names. He had 2 catches and the touchdown from Mason Rudolph today. And Mason Rudolph had himself a touchdown too, running the ball into the end zone. A few fumbles today. 3 fumbles exactly, but they lost 2. So we got Calvin Ridley. He lost 1. Chig Okonkwo. Yeah, there we go. Chig Okonkwo and Jaquan Jackson. They all lost fumble, or they all had fumbles, but Jaquan got his back. Quandre Diggs, what's up, buddy? He had 7 total tackles today. Jack Gibbons had 8 tackles. They did have 4 sacks on us. Like I said, offensive line today for the Lions, not their sharpest game. Not their sharpest game. Defensive line, not their sharpest game. Defensive secondary, not their sharpest game. But I'm still impressed with the linebackers. They're still in my good graces as of right now. Nick Folk, he went 2 for 2, though, with the extra points. We didn't have them punt at all, like in the first quarter, and maybe not even the second quarter. Maybe once in the second quarter, I don't quite remember. But Ryan Stonehouse, ended up punting the ball 6 times. He had an average of 49.3 yards, his longest being 62 yards. There were 64,316 people in attendance today at Ford Field. It was a packed house, man. The crowd was loud. Okay, so Jared Goff, 12 for 15. 85 yards. That's so absurd, with 3 touchdowns. Oh, and by the way, he had 4. We talked about the 4 sacks, but that's negative 33 yards as a team. Well, let's say this first. Hendon Hooker, he went 2 for 3 with 6 yards. David Montgomery, 1 for 1 with 3 yards. But because of those sacks, the Lions finished the day 15 of 19 for a total of 61 passing yards for the team. How ridiculous. 61 passing yards, and we won 52-14. Man. Okay, Jahmyr Gibbs, 11 carries, 127 yards. He had that huge run. That's the one, I swear, he must have hit like 82 miles an hour. Long 70-yard touchdown run. David Montgomery, 9 carries, 33 yards, 1 touchdown. Craig Reynolds, 3 carries, 3 yards. Good to see Craig out on the field again. I wish he would have some success. You know, I want him to stick around a long time. I love this dude. He's a hard worker. He's so cool. I love Craig Reynolds. Hopefully, you know, when he gets those opportunities to play, he can make more out of it than just 1 yard per carry. Jared Goff, he's credited with 1 scramble for 1 yard as well. Sam Laporta, he was the, I guess, the winner of receivers today, you know, because it was National Tight End Day. So everybody, make sure you get your steps and squats in so you got the tightest of all ends. Sam Laporta, though, 6 catches for 48 yards. He got his touchdown today. Khalif Raymond, 2 catches, 14 yards, 1 touchdown. Brock Wright, tight end. I like Brock Wright, too. I think I've talked about that before. 1 catch, 8 yards. That was for the touchdown. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 2 catches, 7 yards, 1 touchdown. See, that's what I'm talking about. It's crazy, man. Crazy. Statistically, outside of Gibbs and Raymond, I mean, Laporta had a decent day, 6 catches, 48 yards. But it's weird to have such a high-scoring game with such low offensive production. It's weird. I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it every game because it was a dominating game. the Lions just had the benefit of having, because of those 4 turnovers and the huge special teams plays, the Lions just had the benefit of having a short field to work with. The Lions never really had to go 80 yards. It was rare that the Lions would have to go 80 yards, or 70 yards to try and score. Jared Goff had 2 fumbles, but he was able to recover one of those. Zeitler recovered another one. Carlton Davis recovered the one. The one Amik Robertson punched out, and Isaiah Thomas also. Welcome to Detroit, Isaiah. He also got the recovery from one of Amik Robertson's punch out. So here we go. Jack Campbell, he had 11 total tackles, 6 solos. Terrion Arnold, 7 total tackles, 7 solos. So he did all that by himself. Alex Anzalone, 6 for 6. Brian Branch, 6 for 6. Kirby Joseph, 6 for 5. Khalil Dorsey, he had that other long return on the kickoff return. He had that huge one, man. Good for him. And also Alex Anzalone, I know on the touchdown that Khalif Raymond had, the long return touchdown, he credited Alex Anzalone with an amazing block. He saw it, so he got the game ball today, and he was very proud of his team for blocking for him to get that done and get him into the end zone. Sacks, though. Anzalone had 1 sack, and that's it. That was our 1 sack of the day. So against a team where we should have had a lot of sacks, we only got 1. So that's something where, Brad Holmes is going to have to get a deal done, because we're not going to do that well without a sufficient pass rush. Now, I heard today, do we think the Lions can win the Super Bowl without a pass rusher? The consensus on the radio was no, but honestly, yes. We can win a Super Bowl with the pass rush we have now. I'm not saying it would be easy, and obviously a better pass rush would help, but we can win a Super Bowl with the team as is right now. You cannot convince me otherwise. They have an amazing opportunity to make it to the Super Bowl, but of course they are going to need some help on the defensive line. They are going to need to improve their pass rush. So, trade deadline, it's on election day. So I am curious to see what Brad Holmes can do, if anything. Is it the end of the world? No, but let's be honest. It would help for sure if we were able to get some pass rush help. Okay, team stats. This one's a little bit more even. The Titans had 23. We had 17. These are first downs, of course. Now, lopsided. You want to talk about lopsided. The Titans had 71 total plays of offense. The Lions had 47. Okay. Total yards, 416 is what the Titans had. The Lions only had 225. Yeah. Total drives, the Tennessee Titans had 14, Lions had 13. Passing yards, like I said, 258 to 61. Rushing yards, this is the only thing where the Lions, other than the score and touchdowns, Titans had 158, Lions had 164. Lions, this is probably one of the most telling stats, other than... I don't know. There are a few key things here that are telling stats. Penalties, 8 for 60 was the Titans. The Lions only had 3 penalties for 29 yards, so they played a relatively clean game. But the turnovers, 4 turnovers. We didn't have any, okay? Defensive special team touchdowns, we had 1. Okay, time of possession, though. 35 minutes, 37 seconds for the Tennessee Titans, 24 minutes, 23 seconds for the Lions. Okay, so there are some telling stats there that really, that's the story of the game. The Lions just never had a long field, so they didn't have a lot of yards, right? They capitalized whenever they could. 5 for 5 in the red zone. 5 for 5. The Titans were 2 of 4, okay? So... overall, the Lions dominated in the most crucial categories, okay, the most crucial categories, the Lions took care of business. Then they didn't need more from the passing game, okay? They had a good day from Jahmyr Gibbs, good day running the ball, just under 170 yards rushing offense. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, and Gibbs had 122 of them or whatever it was. So solid performance. Lions made the difference where it counted. It just overall, it was fun and it was boring and it was not a great game, but it was an amazing game at the same time. It just was really weird, really weird. So I guess I'm closing it where I started it, because that's just kind of what I was saying. It's like statistically, there were things the Lions did great. Statistically, there's things the Lions did wrong, but somehow they won by 38 points. A 38-point blowout. And I was predicting that 31-6. I don't feel like I was close. I was predicting a 25-point blowout. So, all right. I don't know what else I could say. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I will be back in just a few short days. Thursday night usually is when I'm getting that pregame out. Lions, Packers next week. It's weird to say after a 52-14 game that you need to say something that the Lions need to clean it up a little bit. It's weird to have to say that. But I'm not trying to take anything away from the victory. There are lots of good things that happened today, too. Lots of good things that happened today. So we'll see if they can continue that success. We will see if Jared Goff can continue his success. So let's hope so, though. God, go Lions. Go Lions. What a fun game. All right, take it easy, everybody. I will be back in a few days. Bye-bye.